Hi and welcome to this Bass and Creativity lesson. My name is Olivier Babaz. Today I'd like to talk about building a story. So whether you're playing an improvised solo or you're building a composition, building a story is the fact to give enough force to your musical ideas so that people can really relate to them. So we're going to look at two things there. Basically, raw material, so raw music material, and then structure. The first thing is raw material. What kind of harmony are you in? Are there chord changes? Are there definite tempo? Is there a rhythmical style? And what is your playing style? Are you playing solo? Are you playing melody? Are you playing bassline? More open play. So, and then we'll look at structure. So structure will be having a first strong idea, developing from it, having a whole development, and then concluding it generally by recalling some elements of the first one. So let's take a very simple example, and we'll use a bass solo to develop that. And let's take some very simple harmonic environment, and let's take a suspended A. So we're in a more suspended A environment. It's neither at the beginning, neither major or minor. It's just open. And let's take a very simple tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, even 8. And we're starting our IDs from that open A, and we're going to have an ID and set things up and repeat it in order to develop to somewhere else, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so here, our basic idea was this little melodic pattern, and we kind of developed it into something else, bringing a major third here, and then finally minor 6 that brought us to another whole different section in F suspended here. So, and basically getting back to the beginning and concluding it by slowly getting back to the first idea. So once again, this was one way to build a story. Let's take another example, maybe with a different approach and different color. Let's go in C minor and have a more swing and jazz approach to it. And let's just start from an arpeggio. So C minor, and I'm just setting things up by playing an arpeggio, and let's see where it goes from there. 1, 2, 3. So here, from that first idea of a C minor arpeggio, we've slowly expanded it, and it's slowly moved out to something else and to other ideas. But once again, I let myself be free within those movements, always trying to have a link between ideas, and at the end I really focused and I really tried to get back to the original idea. So that's really one very important point. Try to always find a way to conclude things smoothly by recalling one of the introductions idea. And once again, this is one approach. This is the way I do it. Let's see just now how it can be applied to a more compositional approach. So a little less melody and more moving harmonic blocks together. And let's try to evolve from a different idea. So once again, I'll be playing less bass here and a little more harmonic ideas. And let's see where we can go from, let's say, F sharp minor. So once again, let's start with a tempo here. And let's see where it goes. 1, 2, 3. So in this case, I really started from definite voicing here in F sharp that I use in order to move parallelly, and I recall you to another lesson which was a parallel modulation that we did within this series of bass and improvisation, bass and creativity. But here I use that voicing to move around. So moved in by a whole step and then by a half step here. It's not exactly the same voicing, but it's definitely recalling the first one. And then we moved out to another tonality with a constant bass and some very subtle harmonic movement, and then to the first ID, increasing in speed as it comes to harmonic cycle. So here are the two main things to remember from that session and from that lesson. When you want to have coherence and force within your improvisation, whether it is solo or some kind of real-time composition, what you want to have is to have some very clear raw material. What I call raw material is a clear view of where are you playing in, what is your general landscape. Is there a tonality? Is there a tempo? Is there a rhythm style? Is there some kind of mechanical way that your bass is playing with? And then the other thing is structure. Always think in terms of structure. What will happen will give sense to what just happened, and what you're playing is setting ground for what will happen. So always trying to have a coherence and some logic between your ideas. And once again, starting from very simple material, moving on, having a lot of freedom within the development, and at the end really focusing on maintaining coherence from the beginning. So introduction, development, conclusion, and really using some very simple material are the key here to building a story. Thank you for following this lesson, and I'll see you for the next Bass and Creativity session. Bye bye.